This part tripped me out because I was like not expecting this, but it says Thomas Jefferson had written a paragraph of the Declaration accusing the king of transporting slaves from Africa to the colonies and suppressing every legislative attempt to prohibit or restrain this execrable commerce. This seemed to express moral indignation against slavery and slave trade. Jefferson's personal disdain for slavery must be put alongside the fact that he owned hundreds of slaves to the day that he died. So, hypocrite, absolute hypocrite. But it was the fact that there was a growing fear among Virginians and some other Southerners about the growing number of black slaves in the colonies, 20% of the total population, and the threat of slave revolts as the number of slaves increased. Jefferson's paragraph was removed by the Continental Congress because slaveholders themselves disagreed about the desirability of ending the slave trade. So even the gesture toward the black slave was omitted in the Great Manifesto of Freedom of the American Revolution. No surprise there. I just thought that was interesting because, like, yeah, he wrote that because they were terrified of slave rebellions. They were terrified of slave rebellions. This is why I keep saying, like, racism and white supremacy was the thing that prevented these rich white land-owning colonists from being wiped out. If the poor white people and the black slaves had the chance to come together, the world as we know it, America as we know it, would have never existed. It says the use of the phrase all men are created equal was probably not a deliberate attempt to make a statement about women. It was just that women were beyond consideration of worthy of inclusion. They were politically invisible, obviously. It is to try to understand the way in which the Declaration functioned to mobilize certain groups of Americans, ignoring others. Surely, inspirational language to create a secure consensus is still used in our time to cover up serious conflicts of interest in that consensus and to cover up also the omission of large parts of the human race.